His name is Louis Melo. Louis, you want to say hello?
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for having me, Willie.
Yeah. I've been talking to Louis. We've touched base a few times over the course of I don't know the past few months, and thought it'd be good to get him on the show and just pick his brain and see what his experience is so far in his land investing journey and over the past couple of months. I think it would be good. Before we get into the interview, I would like to mention that if you guys are interested in getting started in the land investing business, we do have a new comprehensive course out in land investing. You can go to landinvestingpros.com to learn more about that. But with that, Lewis, welcome on the Facebook Live here, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I don't know too much about your background and I guess your experience. So do you mind sharing, like, I guess dig into a little bit how you got started in this, why you got started, and where you are today?
Sure, yeah. I have been living in the US for about 5 years, and I was a server before this about 4 months after I started, and then I quit because the land was giving me enough profit to pay my bills and to take care of my family. So I started with real estate investing. I got my license last year in February, and I started studying, I think, in 2008, July 2018. So I went and I got the Rich Dad and Poor Dad crash course, the course that they had. I spent about $20 with that to learn about wholesale and everything, but nothing about land. And I am from Brazil, so the language it was a barrier for me in the beginning, but after I got a hold of it, and in February 2019, I went to investor lunch, which I go every Wednesday. I used to, right, with this
Sure.
COVID-19, and someone told me about the land investing. You might know him, Mark Jeffrey.
Mark Jeffrey. I don't think I know him. I think, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I do know him.
He's a really good guy, and he told me about this land business back in Rich Dad Poor Dad 2018. But I had spent $20,000, so I was like, you know what? No way, I'm gonna spend more money to learn something. Let me just try to figure this out.
Wait, hold on. I'm having a little bit of difficulty with your audio. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now you're good.
Okay. So I was talking about the course that I took, and it was fine. It was just one day. It was quick, but I had an image in my mind, and I just went 100% forward. My first set of 300 letters.
Okay.
And I was just like, I did so many counties that I didn't even know the name of the counties.
For the 300 letters?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the neutral letters, I did not know the counties. I was just like doing it, I just found some land. I didn't know what to search for. And I spent about $1,000 because I hired a company to do it for me, to print and to send the document. Out of that, I probably got 100 calls. And
100 calls out of 300 letters.
1,300 letters.
Oh, sorry. Okay, got it.
That was my first set. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I used credit card.
Okay.
And so I got about 100 calls. I returned
Still
all
pretty solid
calls.
response rate, I'd say.
Yeah, really good. I think it was the best one so far. Really, my first one was the best one. I got a bunch of mail back too, which is normal.
Mm-hmm.
But so I got about 17 contracts from only 2 sellers.
Okay.
And
17 contracts from 2 sellers, so they had a bunch of property they wanted to sell in bulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And I had properties under contract that I didn't know what I was going to do with. Like, it was just the beginning, I was new. and I didn't have anyone to teach me. It was just me, and it's pretty much what I do with everything. It's just like I take care, and I will learn in the process. So I got the 17 contracts. I was able to sell, if I'm not wrong, 7 of them.
Okay.
Because the other ones were not good location. I had one in escrow, but the period that I had with the seller was going to expire, and the guy was upset. He didn't want to give me more time. So that deal fell through, and I was like, man, I felt bad because I didn't have anything on my pipeline. So, and after that, I have been doing deals nonstop. And I quit my serving job about 3 months or 4 months in the business. And I send right now about 1,500 letters a month.
Okay. So that's great. So, I mean, you came from a server job. You didn't have any necessarily crazy technical skills. You didn't have any necessarily real estate experience. But I mean, you kind of found the niche. You dove in on a 1 day experience, and then you just started finding some counties, sending out mail, and just see what happens. I mean, that's kind of the way you got to go about it. Learn that you'll figure things out along the way. How did you, when you got started, how did you think about choosing those counties that you selected? You said you sent out to a bunch. How did you think about selecting them, and how did you get the data to send out the mail?
Man, it was a crazy thing. I just went to Google and I Googled like I think fastest growing cities in the US.
Hmm.
And from there I used Agent Pro 27 and I just did a criteria for vacant lots and I just got the letters. Something like very I didn't know what I was doing actually. I don't
Okay.
even know when people would call me. I was like, "What? Where are you calling from?" I didn't remember the counties or the places. I just like I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, no, totally understand. So what went into your thought process in selecting the counties? What made you think, okay, this was a good county, or that I'm not going to select that county? And then how many counties did you end up selecting? You said you selected a bunch.
I don't have idea how many, and I don't have idea why I select them. I just found them and found some vacant lot, and I was just like, I'm gonna send them a letter.
Okay. All
One
right.
thing that I did for sure was like out of state owners.
Yep.
So
Okay.
that's
So that
something that
that's
I
probably why
do.
you got such a good response rate, is because out of state owners, while from my point of view, I don't think it's necessarily, um, I mean, you'll probably get a better response rate on the out of state owners, but I don't necessarily think that's the best way to go about it, because I think it's more important to select the market. But I mean, it sounds like from your response, I mean, you got an overwhelming response. It was your first mailing. Um, and so, I mean, you obviously got some deals. So so you said you got all those deals under contract. What were the purchase prices on those, and how many did you end up purchasing, or did you buy them, put them under contract, and then ultimately just like sell them, market
Well,
them and sell them?
out of 17, I advertised all of them, and I had a contract for 6 months, an escrow period, right?
Hmm.
And I ended up selling 7. And the purchase price was very low: $1,000, $3,000, 700, 1,200, things like that. It wasn't
Okay.
more than $4,000.
Okay, cool. And how many, so you said you sold how many of those you ended up selling?
7.
Seven. And what were the purchase prices or the sales prices on those?
All different. I sold one that I got for 2,000 for 7,800. Another one that I got for 1,000, I sold for 2,000. Small profits, but good profits. But the biggest one was like the 7,800. The other ones were just like I have made 1,300, 1,800, 800, 2,000.
Yeah.
It was like not consistent because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just making a profit, which was good, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great to know. I mean, it's probably super inspiring for those out there who are listening, who are thinking about getting started, that you literally had no experience. You didn't really have any good rhyme or reason on how to choose counties. And I mean, you just knew that you were buying discounted property. And Yeah, so I guess that was the first mailer, and so you saw some results and started seeing good things happen. And then what happened from there?
Actually, I did a mistake. Uh, I went good. I got some contracts signed. I sold them, good results, and I stopped for about 2 or 3 months because I focused on my license here in California as
Mhm.
being a realtor. and I shouldn't have done that because that gave me an something that I didn't have any profits from the 3 months following because I wasn't sending very much of like letters, and my wife even got upset because like, why are you going to stop something that's providing you an income and go back to being a realtor, which
Yep.
is really tough. But at the time, I was unaware about it, and I was like, "Hey, I want to be a realtor," and that fucked up. It's still good, actually. I have closed properties here in California. I'm still have another property in here for sale, and it's a good thing. But land business, it's my main focus right now.
Okay, that's good to know. So you're doing this full time. Have you stopped your realtor showings and that kind of thing, or you're doing both at the same time now?
I do both at the same time. We cannot do any showings right now because of the COVID-19.
Okay.
But my focus, it's like primarily, I would say 80% it's on the land business,
Okay,
or
great.
90%.
Cool. And so after you guys started, you sent out that first mailer. You started to see some results, and then what kind of happened from there? Did you send out more mail in the same counties? Did you choose different areas? What was your thought process from that point?
I went to a different area. I started going like so many different counties. I didn't know what I was doing actually. After like 7 or 8 months into the business, that's when I figured out. I was just sending letters, and I believe I didn't even send a second letter or something. So yeah, I got lost, but in a good way because I was falling through. I was like, hey, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it. But I stopped for 3 or 4 months, which
Stop
was,
mailing to buy
yeah,
property?
yeah, because I went back to my realtor mindset, and I thought I would be making more money as a realtor, which is not the case. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. So you took some time off, and I guess how are things going today in this market for you? I know we just talked and you said you've got some deals under contract. So what's kind of the latest um, for you in this niche?
With the COVID-19, like
Well, just with
2000.
your land business today. So what's been going on with you recently? And I guess
Okay.
yeah. So what kind of deals have you been seeing today?
Well, right now I'm killing it. Like I have so many deals lined up. I have so many escrows going on. I probably have four. I closed three, and the month before I closed two. January three. So it's like at least 3 deals a month. I'm seeing it, and different profits. There's one property that I got it for. It wasn't such a good location, and I'm making $1,000. There's another one that I'm making $50,000, $15,000. So, but it's a lot of follow up with the sellers to make sure that they sign that contract. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I get it for too much, and I just have to give the property back. But the COVID-19, it's something that's not affecting me at all. I have been selling all of the lots that I have, and people keep reaching out to me. The cheap lots, the most expensive lots. It's been a great time, and I have been getting a lot of contracts. People are scared. They are afraid.
Yeah, no, I think we're kind of finding the same things here. We're not, I mean, we're getting a lot of contracts, people coming out of the woodwork from years ago, from when I sent out mail. And on the sell side, we're really not experiencing too much difference. It's the 13th of the month right now. We've sold 15 lots this month, which is pretty in line with what we've been doing. So we haven't seen any slowdown on the sales side. On the buy side, we're ramping things up as well. So I mean, it's good to. I mean, every investor that I've really talked to has not really seen too many, um, too much up and down in this environment, which is good because I feel very very good about saying this niche is very economic or is recession resistant and really works in all environments. And I mean, right now, I mean, we're buying lands out in the boonies, so or at least some of the lots, and so people are still have an appetite to buy those lots. Um,
Well,
so
the key is,
that's
yeah, you're, in my opinion, you're right about the recession. The key is to get the property cheap, Because if you get it cheap, that's not going to affect you in the future. And also get a long period of escrow, right? So you can sell it to someone else. So you have enough time.
Yeah, definitely. And so you said you've been doing 2 to 3 deals a month. And have you started to find like a sweet spot, a niche in terms of location? Have you started to buy more property in the same counties? Are you still buying all over the place, or what's kind of your more
I
recent strategy?
I do have about let me see, about like 4 states that I'm very strong at.
Uh-huh.
Those are the ones that I'm focusing right now. Those are the ones that I keep sending blind offers, first blind offer, second blind offer, neutral letter, second neutral letter, because those counties I see that I have a good response, and I know them. I know what's going on, the improvements that are coming, and I have my buyers list too.
Okay, that's good. So are you
But I'm
buying these
still looking for more counties. I'm always looking for more places where to send more letters to see what's going to happen.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's always good to test and see what markets work and just find your groove and find your sweet spot. How are
Yeah.
you buying these things? Are you self-closing or are you buying them through title or how is that working for you? I know you bought some of these cheaper lots, so I'm assuming you're not going through title on those, but what have you been doing to close these on the buy side?
So in the beginning, I used to use a title company. Like I didn't know what to do, and I was closed. Actually, I should have called the county because it's super easy. They are so open to tell you what to do, what documents do they need to transfer the property. And from about like 2 months ago, I started doing the self closing, and because there were small lots, smaller profit, and I could even make money on the closing side because I would charge them more money than the county charges me. So I still use title company for the big lots when I
Mhm.
need to do a double closing, or when the price is like higher than 5,000, I would say so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So have you executed on some double closings? I have only done one in the few years that I've been doing this, the 3+ years I've been doing this. Have you done a lot of those, or some of those, or one of those?
Probably I have done 3 so
Oh wow.
far.
Okay.
I have another one right now lined up because my profit's so high that I do not want to share that with the buyer, either the seller. I don't want
Okay.
them to know how much I'm making because
Yeah. No,
that
I don't blame you. I mean, that's a good way
could
to go about it. If you're doing it, so your strategy and Lewis's strategy for those who are listening is he's putting these properties under contract. He's setting a diligence period of about 6 months. Is that correct?
6 or 5.
5 or 6 months, and so in the contract. I'm assuming you get equitable interest in the property. You're able to market and sell the property while you have the property under contract, and then when it comes time to closing, and you haven't yet issued the funds, so you're not outlaying the capital up front. You're doing it right at the same time you sell the property. You're finding a cash buyer, and then you close through escrow. So the end buyer, eventually funds the purchase and the difference in between there. So that's something that's different that most of the land investors that I've been talking to aren't doing. But it's not. It's a decent way to get started if you don't want to risk any capital. Was that kind of your thought process going with that strategy?
Um, for I have been doing this land business for a year and 3 months, and I have purchased one property, which I regret. I sold the property. Yeah, I sold the property. I made a profit on it, but it was a hustle. I had to hire someone to go there and clean the whole lot, and it cost me $1,000 to clean the lot.
Okay.
And
I've never had to clean a lot before, I'll tell you that. I would just mark it a little bit lower, but that's fair.
no, but that was ugly. That was like it wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
Um, And so, besides that, I don't purchase any properties with my money. No, not at all. I just use money to fund the whole deal. And because I don't want any risk to me, even after this one. Today, I got a new property, and it's a location that's growing like crazy. And what I'm gonna be doing for the first time, I'm gonna be holding that land. I got for very cheap, and I know that the future value is gonna go up like crazy. So that's one property. That's something that I'm planning for my future. My first investment land that's gonna be there under my company's name.
Okay, that's good. And so I want to just pick your brain on the um, double closing piece. Has that been a challenge for you? Have you found that to be very manageable? What can you describe your process as you are purchasing these lots and the logistics on how to do the double closings if it's not an escrow, or um, how you've been able to manage that pretty easily?
Actually, it's very easily. You just have to call the escrow companies in the state or the county that you are looking at, and you talk to them and you see if they're going to work for you or not. And if they don't, go to the next one. And they do all the documentation, and they talk to the seller, they talk to the buyer, and they have my agreement with the buyer and the seller. So they do all the paperwork. They just send me the money. So it's pretty easy actually. But at the beginning, you have to reach out to like five to see which one is going to work better for you.
Yeah, so not all title companies. In fact, from my experience, most of them do not allow for double closings. Is that what you found?
In one state, yes, but I found an attorney that is working on one property right now for myself. But other states, a lot of them do double closing.
Okay, cool. And so I guess now you're at today. How many deals have you done to date,
To date.
or since you
Uh,
started, or the past few months, or some sort of deal number, if you don't mind?
so yeah, no problem. Like 15 months that I have been doing this business, 15 or 16 months, I think I have closed about
Sorry, how many? It broke up for a second.
22.
Okay, 22 deals. And so you've been able to get out of your server position, and now you're focused 100% on real estate as a realtor and in this business. And so how does it feel to kind of work on your own schedule?
Yeah, I love it. I had my business back in Brazil. I was an accountant, and I had my own company, and I knew how to manage my time. But right now, I'm managing even better. So it's like prioritizing what you're gonna do every week. I go to the mailbox to the USPS, and I sent about, I don't know, at least 400 every week, 400 letters.
Okay, good.
So that's something that I do. I have one day that I do the offers, or 2 days a week that I do the offers. The other days I'm gonna get the information. One day I look for like a different county to start sending letters. And yeah, it's been, you just have to know how to manage your time.
Yeah, no, that's good. And so I guess what's next from here? So you've been, or actually before I get into that, how have you been able to sell these properties? What's sources online or elsewhere have you been using to find buyer leads for these lots?
All right, so I do use Zillow. I use Trulia, Redfin. I use Craigslist, and I use Facebook, and my buyers list.
Okay, and what's been most effective for you?
It's hard to say. Like Zillow is really awesome, but Facebook, it's like it. I'm getting a lot of buyers from Facebook.
Okay, do you have a website, or you're just marketing on these platforms?
I I don't have a website. I think it's not something that I want to focus right now because people don't care about your website. How are they going to find your website? It's really tough. It's more like using the websites that are out there already. And the Facebook, to let you know, I post at least twice a week. Every Monday and every Friday, my virtual assistant is posting the properties for sale.
Okay. All right, well, cool. And so now you've done 22 deals. You're doing this. I mean, you've got obviously got some experience at this point. What's next from you here? What are you looking to do? What are some of your goals with this business?
So the goal is to make six-figure income this year, and I'm on track. I'm like way higher than I thought I would be. And with that being said, I want to make at least $100,000 profit to me out of the land business this year, and I'm on track. I have done pretty much like half. And the goal is to buy some properties in a good location that I know that's going to grow and hold it for the future because I don't want to just buy and sell, buy and sell. It's good because of the money,
Hmm.
but at the same time, you don't have anything on the future. And I want to do some seller finance. I haven't done. I have been working with seller finance with other people, but at the end, doesn't work out. and I want to do more seller finance. Right now, it's all cash.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
I think it's all good.
yeah, my goal is just to keep doing what I'm doing, and keep increasing the number of letters, and keep increasing the properties, the contracts, and don't stop. Even for a day.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And so, I mean, your goal is six figures. How many deals would you have to do in this year in order to get that? Or I guess, do you know your average profit on a deal, basically? Because if you just back into it, it's not very crazy. I mean, it's really
No,
not too hard once you kind of reverse engineer it. Do you know how many deals you'd have to do this year?
to do the 100,000,
Yeah.
probably. I think like 7 or 8 more would be fine, depending on the sales price. I'm not so good with averaging because some properties I make like 2,000. Some, no, at least minimum is 2,000 right now. I can't make less than 2,000, and which is a good money. But there are other locations in which I'm able to make 10,000, 15,000, 12,000. So it varies.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
There are small lots that I get for like $600, and I'm able to flip them for 3,500. You know, so I'm like all for it. It's all day long. Give it to me.
Just keep buying them at $600. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cheap. I can even like have a short period for my escrow because I know the area, and I can buy it quick. So people are gonna be more interested in selling, right? Because 600, who wants to wait 6 months to get $600?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So I do
definitely.
like 2 months or 3 months, and like $600 is not gonna. I know that I'm gonna be able to sell this property, and that's it.
Cool. Cool. No, that's great. I mean, it's obviously a doable goal. I think it's very achievable. It seems like I mean, you know what you're doing at this point. You know all the logistics. Sometimes the hardest part is figuring out how to actually buy property and then how to sell a property. And then once you do it a couple times, you're like, all right, now it's in the back of my brain, and now I could try to figure out how to grow and scale this thing. So it seems like, I mean, you've broken through. I mean, you understand the fundamentals. You know how to do it. You know how to transfer title. You know how to create a deed. You know how to double close. You know how to do everything, and you've done it. And so now the concept is proven for you. So now it's just really okay. So now how do I do it at a bigger scale? How do I do more of this? And it's about now you're kind of managing a business and trying to figure out how to grow a business and focus on building systems and hiring things out and automating things. And that's the point where you're really able to grow and scale. So I think once you hit that six-figure mark, I think from there it really only only gets higher, and you only get hell of a lot better at it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, sure.
so
And at the same time, I have someone that helps me from Philippines, so they do the posting, so they take a lot of my shoulders.
yeah, yeah, definitely. No, I totally agree with that. How much have you been outsourcing and leveraging them?
So I was outsourcing the phone calls too. So they would call and they would answer, but I wasn't so like I wasn't very comfortable with that because I rather be on the phone and talk to them in person. It would take like 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes with some people, but at least they know who I am and they know that they can trust me. Because it used to be before just a person answering, their English wouldn't be that great, and their questions would be like not the questions that I sent them.
Yeah,
And right now, I just rather get they call me, go straight to the voice message, and I return the phone call. I return the phone call with the parcel number, with the property in my computer already, so I know what I'm talking about, and I'm talking to them about not like a script. So
yeah.
I cancel that. I don't do that anymore. I do my own thing, but they do post for me, which is a nice thing.
Okay, that's good. And so have you thought about things that you can do to start taking your business to the next level? Is it going to be automating more? Or what things in I guess what things in your business are you able to work on right now to kind of remove yourself, or have you thought about how to like grow and scale at that point, or are you still just looking to go on a deal by deal basis?
Man, I think about growing every day pretty much. I have the systems in place, and I think the next step would be hiring someone to help me, but like someone in the US,
Yeah, yeah,
someone
no,
that would be like in my office, that I would pay the minimum wage and a profit of my deals. and that I think would help me a lot. But
Yeah.
right now, it's just like I have been able to do it myself, and I see the numbers of deals are increasing every month, and yeah, it's pretty okay right now. So you said you guys do 15 deals a month?
No, we do like I would say 35 to 40 over the past few months. We've averaged 35 to 40. Yeah.
How
So it's
many
been
people?
sorry,
How many people?
how many people on our team? So we've got um, myself, business partner. We've got two sales guys now. Have a transaction coordinator, and then we're hiring another transaction coordinator. We're actually sending out an offer letter today. So I have two transaction coordinators, two sales guys. We've got a marketing team, and then we've got a couple other people helping with sales. And then we've got the VAs. We've got about three or four VAs helping us with all the paperwork and the postings and everything like that. So um, we've got a pretty scaled out operation. And yeah, we've got obviously an office out here in Chicago, and we're not in there right now. We're working from home, but that's where all the chaos kind of happens. And it's all, I mean, once you grow and scale above that point, it's just managing the chaos and like trying to grow and scale and um, just trying to do things at like a bigger level. And so um, yeah, so I mean, we're definitely doing things quite a bit differently than most out there. I don't know many land investors who have as big of a team as us. But I mean, at the point when you're trying to scale, it's all about outsourcing and getting things off your plate because at some point you can't manage it all.
Right, yeah,
So
that's for sure. And if you don't mind, can I ask you a couple of questions?
sure, definitely.
All right. Because I feel like, whoa, your business is growing like crazy. 35 deals a month. That is unbelievable. That is a lot. And besides you just have one partner and the rest, they're just employees.
Correct. Correct.
Do you pay them a percentage of the profit?
So no, uh, they're mostly salary.
Most salary.
Yeah, salary, some commission for sales. Um, but most of it is salary.
Got it. Got it.
You want egg?
No.
No.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem at
So,
all.
what I was going to ask you, so you have them in salary. So you have one side that they're the sellers, they chase the sellers or the buyers?
So we've got one side so we're reviewing the deals. We have our CRM on the buy side. We're reviewing all the deals in our database. And then once we approve a deal, it'll go to one of our transaction coordinators, and then he will start going through he will send it to the VA so it gets bounced around. VAs do the diligence, gets back to him. He manages the logistics with the closing. He keeps tracking our CRM, making sure everything is documented properly. And so I mean, he's got a lot of chaos on his end to manage because we're doing so many deals. We're closing around, so we're trying to grow it above where we are. So we are closing, I mean, we're buying 15 to 20 properties a week at this point, probably close 15 right now, 15 a week. And so we're trying to scale it above where we are. And so there's a little bit lag between how many we're buying and how many we're able to sell. So we're buying more right now than
So you guys purchased the properties with your money?
correct. Correct. Um, so
And what's the price point?
So we keep it relatively around 5 grand, sometimes less, sometimes more, but in that range, nothing too crazy.
So about $5,000.
Yeah, yeah, I would say 3 to 5,000, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. It really
And what's
depends.
your escrow period? Do you tell them like 30 days, 45 days?
So we don't really have an escrow period. We we take title to all the lots that we own. So we don't have a diligence period. We're not doing double closings. We take title and then we just market and sell it on a website and elsewhere on the internet, similar places to where you guys are, or to where you're marketing and selling.
Right, but you need at least 10 or 15 days to make sure everything that they tell, to make sure there are no back taxes. That's
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we'll tell the sellers that it'll take about a week to close. We've kind of changed our process and how we're buying these things. We're having the sellers send the deeds directly to us before we use the mobile notary. But pretty much we send the deed. We'll give a couple days. We'll give the VAs a couple days for diligence, sending things to the um, things to the seller via email after the diligence is completed by the VAs, and the transaction coordinator manages all that.
Okay. So you have a contract and you tell them, hey, 1 week will be enough for me.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even know what he's telling him at this point. I think he said, I mean, once we get a deal, we approve it. So my partner and I will review it. We'll say, okay, we want to buy this. It'll get sent to, it'll ping our coordinator in our CRM and say, hey, we want to buy this. At that point, he will contact the seller. He'll call the seller and say, hey, we're going to buy this property. Here's what's going to happen. I think in there it probably says a couple days, and we'll get you the deed and something like that. And then in the meantime, the VAs will do the diligence, check the taxes, make sure there's no liens, check HOAs and stuff like that. And then the VAs get the stuff back, send it through our database, and
And the
that's
transaction
kind of the
coordinator,
process.
they do all the paperwork, and you just send the seller a check, a cashier's check.
So it'll be a cashier's check or a wire.
Okay,
So
that's interesting.
that's how we manage it. That's how I've used to use mobile notaries. I've used mobile notaries for 2.5 years, and then I stopped doing that a little while ago. I mean, we still do it if the sellers request it,
Right.
and if the deal warrants it. Say the purchase price is $7,000, whatever. They feel sketched out sending a deed in without any cash, so we'll get a mobile notary in that case. But for the most part, we try to avoid that when possible.
Got it. That's a nice system, yeah. But you guys are buying a lot of land then, so you just like you have to sell them. It's
Yeah.
not like you have a risk over there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get like once you start doing this, well, like I can't even tell you how many properties I've bought since I started doing this. There's no risk in buying these things from my perspective. Everything sells. I can count. I mean, I've lost money on one deal. I mean, we're buying these things at such big discounts, 15, 20 cents on the dollar. They'll all sell. From my view, this is the least risky way you can invest because you're buying
Yeah,
these
that's
things at such
sure.
discounts. So it's just the way you perceive risk. And in my view, this is way, 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 like it's not even close, way less risky than investing in the stock market, way less risky than investing in houses where you've got a mortgage, where you've got big payments to make. This is, you're buying at a discount. The holding costs are extremely low. You're paying like $100, $200 a year in property taxes. So the holding costs are effectively nothing. And you can just market it and sell it at whatever price you want. And our margins are such that we're selling at 85% margins. That means if we're buying something for $1,500, we're selling at $10,000 on average. So I mean, with that kind of margin of error, like it's at this point, I don't think I'll ever buy property again that I'll lose money on unless something catastrophic happens on the deal. But from my view, it's just it's really easy to analyze these markets and understand that you're buying these things at a discounted price and that you'll be able to sell it for quite a bit more. So that's how I view it. And like when you're getting started, you don't understand that these things are going to sell you don't not used to owning land or owning these type of assets. So it's just a different kind of mindset that I've adopted over the years.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you said like 1,500 and you end up selling for 10,000. So is that how much you offer? You offer like 15%, 20% of the market value?
Yeah, so we'll sell on terms. So it'll be buy for 1,500 for, this is just total example, buy for 1,500, sell for $10,000 on terms. That would be average margin of what we're buying and selling.
What do you mean on terms? Like
Owner financing.
Oh, you do the seller finance too?
Yeah, seller financing. Correct.
And you do the buyer's finance too, the buyer side?
No, we don't finance on the buyer side. No.
Oh, when buying, you're buying with cash.
Buy cash, sell on terms.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
And
correct.
my question, I'm not sure if I was able to say it correctly. My question is like, when you're sending an offer, what's the percentage that you can go up to the market value? Like 15% of the market value, 20% of the market value? How much?
Yeah, so we'll probably, we like to buy around 15 to 20 in that range. Yeah, so I think you nailed it right there. I don't think we wouldn't want to buy anything for a quarter.
Got it. I have bought for more, to be honest with you. 40%, 45%, 50% even. And I have made profit on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much margin in there. You definitely make a profit, but from our end.
That's for a higher price point.
Right.
For these ones that you're talking about, probably the sellers, they just know that it's that cheap,
Yeah. So we know where we want to buy at. So we're a little bit hesitant. We have pretty strict criteria. So.
And what's your job? Do you download the list, or do they download the list, or you do the offers, or they do the offers?
So I'm choosing markets, building lists, pricing lists, sending things out in the mail, and reviewing deals, and that's really about all I do in our business at this point. Just reviewing deals and um, choosing markets and sending out mail. That's about it, and everything else is pretty much outsourced. I mean, I manage the transaction coordinators and the VAs, and my business partner manages most of the sales. So that's how we've kind of broken down. So I'm a manager and just choosing markets and uh, reviewing deals pretty much.
Are they like full-time employees?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what's about, huh? That's
Yeah.
like you guys have done such a great thing, because 35 deals a month. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
So
you guys are doing like six figure in 5 months.
no, six figures. Yeah, we're doing more than six figures a month for sure.
A month.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, but
pretty easily. I mean, we're selling these things on owner financing.
so you're doing owner finance.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have multiple six-figure months for sure.
How much
But
do you
it's
ask them for a down payment, if you don't mind me asking?
usually a few $100s down, a few hundred a month. It'll depend on the property though. If it's a more expensive lot, we'll ask for more down payment, or if we spent more on the lot, we'll ask for more of a down payment. But it's all for us in terms of scaling is how quickly we can get our money back, pretty much. So we can't really grow and scale if we're not getting our money back for a couple of years. So we got to get our money back in a reasonable time frame.
Got it. Yeah, man, land is a really good thing. If you guys want to join, just go to your website, like you said. And this guy is so smart. He's doing a lot of deals, and I look forward to being a position like yours in the future. In which I will have employees, and I will know better what I'm doing. Because sometimes you don't know what you're doing. But every day you're learning.
Yeah, everyone's at a different stage in their business, and seems like you're at the point where you could start to think about growing and scaling. You've learned these fundamentals, so that's a good point to be in. But yeah, I guess we could wrap it up there. If people are interested in getting in touch with you, what would be a good way for them to contact you?
To contact me. All right. I can give them my phone number.
Sure,
And my
whatever's best.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a website. I just use the websites that are out there. I don't want to spend my time building a website. I just rather spend my time sending letters or sending offers. Well, my job is to send offers, actually. The letters are something that just comes with the job. But if you don't send the offer, it's bad to you. You're just all about sending the offers. But my phone number, it is 626-804-5344. 626-804-5344. And my email, it's my company's name, solidworkproperties@gmail.com. solidworkproperties@gmail.com. That's my LLC in California.
Awesome. Well, appreciate your time, Louis. And it was great interview. Great getting to know you a little bit, digging into your background. So thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Willie.
No problem.
We talked too.
Great.